Hello and welcome back to my channel. This is Gabin from Design Tribe, and in today's video I'm going to be showing you how I created this relationship seminar flyer in Photoshop. Let's get straight to it. First thing we want to do, as usual, is to create a project file, and for this project file we are going to be using a 1000 pixels by 1000 pixels file, and the resolution is going to be 300 pixels. So I'm just going to click on OK. And now I'm just going to create my background, and I'll go to adjustment layer and pick solid color adjustment layer, and I'm going to use this shade of blue. So once that blue is selected, the next thing I want to do is to bring in the image that I used for this design. So I'm just going to navigate to where the image is, and I'll drag and drop into my project file like that. And once this image is imported, I'm just going to go to select subjects, and I make a selection of the area of the image which I want to use. So I want just a selection of this man out of this image. So I'm just going to create a mask right now, and once the mask is created, I will select my brush and I'll go to black color. Make sure my foreground color is black, and I'll paint out the lady. And once that is done, I'll just press Ctrl T on my keyboard and magnify the size of the image like this, and reduce this a little and position it here like this. Okay, once that is done, I may just want to clean up some areas, like this area about this arm like this. Just use my lasso tool and I'll just make a selection around it like that, and fill that with black to take it out of the image like that. Once that is done, I'm now going to change my blend mode to overlay like this, and now I'm going to pick a bright color from his t-shirt like this, brighten this up a little like that, and I'll use that to add some lights on some parts of the design. So I'm just going to create a new layer here and use this soft brush. Make sure the hardness is turned down to 0, and I'm just going to dab here like this. And once that is done, I'm going to import the other image which I used for this design. So this is the image. I'll just drag and drop the image into the design like this. Once that is brought in, I'm just going to increase the size of the image to something like this, and I'll change the blend mode to soft light like that, and I'm going to add a mask to it so I can paint out some areas which I don't want to blend it in to the background seamlessly. So I'm going to increase my brush, make sure the hardness is turned down to 0 and the foreground color is black. Now just dab gently around the edges like this to make it blend seamlessly with the background like that. Reduce my brush and now paint in this area like this. Okay, so I'm going to move this subject to the left a little more, and now I'm going to be painting in some orange lights. So for that, I'm just going to create a new layer, and I'll go to my colors here, and I'll select an orange color like this. Once that is selected, I'll use my brush to increase the brush. Make sure it's a soft brush, and I'll just dab on this edge. Since you see there's a reflection of light on the back part of his body, so I want to create these lights here like this, and I create another light from below just so it appears as though there is a light source this way like that. And also I'm going to create another layer to add another light source from this side I'm going to increase this like this, and I'll dab here like that. Yes, I think this is a little too much. Just undo, dab away from his body, so you just have some light reflections around the edge of his body. So I'm just going to dab again here like this. I think that is okay. So to make the lights a little more realistic, I'm going to add another layer above the subject layer, above this man. What I'm going to do now is to make a selection of him again. So I'll just go to select subject, and once the selection is made, I'm going to now add, once the selection is made, I will come to this layer here. I'll use my brush tool to paint in the color throughout the image like that. Once that is painted in, I'll double click on it, and I'll go to the blend if options under the layer styles, and I'll split this blend if slider like that, and I'll move it to the right like this. Now push this to the right a little more like this. This is to make sure that there is some sort of a reflection from these orange colors on the background. So just pull this back a little. Okay, so once that is done, I may want to turn down the intensity of this layer a little more like this, and on this layer I'm going to use my burn tool to make the edge dark. So I'm just going to select the layer itself, and I'll rasterize it, paint around the edge of his head like that to make it dark like that. Okay, so once that is done, I may want to select both layers and I'll link them together. Now Ctrl T, I bring it down a little like this to this point. Now I'm just going to add my text into the image relationship. So change this color to white, and the text I use for this is Akumin variable. So I'm just going to go up to Akumin variable like that. Once that is selected, I'll just click here and I'll type in relationship, relation, make sure it's ultra bold. Just capitalize everything like that, position it here, and I'll create a copy, Control Command J, and I'll type in ship here, like that. I just select both layers and reduce the size. And for the seminar text, going to create a new layer, select my text tool, and I will search for a particular font, Bagenda script. So I'll just search for that. Okay, this is the font. I'll just type in Seminar. Like that. Now move this, reduce the size a little more, something like this. I think I'll just change this back to lowercase like this. I think the lowercase version looks better. Add a dash there. Okay, so I'm just going to add a new layer beneath, and I'll still pick the orange color. Now dab a little more. I'll make sure it's the bright version of that orange color. Just dab there. This looks reddish, so saturation. Okay, I'll pick something here like this and just dab there like that. Okay, I'm going to group these three layers like this, and I'll bring them down to this position like this. Now I'm going to go to my shapes, and I'm going to identify legacy shapes. Within my legacy shapes, I'm going to go to nature, and I'll bring in the butterfly image like this. So once this butterfly image is brought in, I actually added a gradient color to the butterfly, so I'm just going to position it here like this, then bring it above, double click on it, go to gradient overlay, and apply this blue color on it. Now under the gradient section, I'm going to select down here like this, and I'll pick part of this color, the orange color in the background, so that the butterfly interacts with the background. So I might bring this in a little like this. Now I'll delete that point, undo, 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 bring down this point to this like these. Okay, just click on OK, Ctrl C, reduce the size of the butterfly a little. So I will want to darken this part up here a little. Maybe I will just add a mask to this part of the layer. Now use a black brush, just dab above like that, so the butterfly is more visible like that. Now I'm going to add the date of the event. So just add a new layer and use the rounded rectangle tool, change this to a white color. Now just select this area like this. And once that is created, I'm going to type in the time and the date. So the time is 2 p.m. Just type in 2 p.m. For this, I'm going to use Montserrat regular. Reduce my font size. 2 p.m. like that. Ctrl T, reduce the size of the text, position it here like this. And now I'm going to create a copy of this layer. Hold Shift on my keyboard, extend it like this. Once that is extended, create a copy, Control Command J first. So first create a copy, Control Command J, Control Z to transform, hold Shift and extend the layer like this. Okay, once the layer is extended like that, now go to the layer properties here. You turn off the fill and you add a stroke color, white stroke like that. Increase the size of the stroke. I think 5 can work, 4 or 5. So once that is created, I'll move this background to the side a little more like this. Now I'm just going to type in the date. So I'll create a copy of this text. Now type in 04 February 2024. Select everything and reduce the size like that. Change the color to white. So I'll just take out the 2024 to create more space for the remaining part of the text. Ctrl T, use a font size like that, and I'll reposition it here like this. Okay, the next thing I did was to add a white shape somewhere here. So I'm just going to create this like this. Once that is created, Ctrl T, slant it a little like that. Now click on OK. Okay, that has been created. So I want to make it to blend seamlessly with the background. So what I'm going to do now is to add a mask to it, and I'll hold Control Command T on my keyboard to make a selection here. Once that selection is made, I'm going to use my brush, black brush, to paint out that area. I want to increase the hardness of my brush like that, and make sure I'm on the mask of that layer where this white shape is found. And I'll just paint like this to take out that area. And once that is done, I'm going to create a new layer above it. Use my black brush, reduce the size of the brush, and drop down my flow hardness. I'll drop down my hardness to 0, and I'll pick a dark color from the background like that. Now just dab around this area to create a shadow like that, soft shadow. Now since the layer of our subject here is on overlay, it's kind of transparent. I don't want to reveal much of his hand, so I'm going to use my black brush to paint out some of these layers. I just wanted a little reflection on the background to show that there's a shadow there. I'll just paint this out like this. So I feel like moving up this butterfly a little. Just select everything else, the other texts. Now move them up also. And move these layers up also. Position them here like this. Okay, I think this is okay. So now I'm just going to be adding the venue and phone numbers. So I'll just drag the venue icon into my design like that, reduce the size, something like this, and I'll use my paint bucket to give it a color, rasterize the layer. So I want the same color from the background to be applied to it. Ctrl T, reduce the size. Now position it here. Select my text, Montserrat regular. Now type in the location of the event. My 3 Bamenda. Select everything, reduce my font size a little to 16. Position it here. So I'll just select the text and maybe I'll use a medium, or let's say semi-bold for that. Then I'll go back to my shapes, and under shapes I'm going to drag in my phone icon like that. Select the phone icon, double click on this is the thumbnail. Now pick the same color from the location bar like that. Ctrl T, reduce the size, something like this. And now position it beneath like that. And now I'm going to add phone numbers. So I'll just select this layer, Ctrl J, I'll bring it to this position, and I'll add the country code. Just like that. Make sure everything is well aligned like that. We want to bring this down a little. Okay, so I'll select all the contacts and the location info. Oops, let me see. The phone, bring it up, place everything together in the same location. Just select everything like this, Now create a group for them. Control T, reduce the size, something like this. I'll position it here. Now I'm going to be adding the logo of the organization, so I'll just drag the logo and drop into the design, reduce the size of the logo like that, position it here. Switch my color to white. We'll type in Academy Fellowship Cameroon. Select everything, change this to Montserrat regular. Now reduce the size, something like this. Now add a bar in between the logo and the name like that. Push this in. Now type in the branch ACF my 3 like that. Now position it here. Now the next thing I did was to add the social media handles, so I'm just going to create a white line here like this. Once that is created, I'm going to add a drop shadow to it. Drop shadow like this. Increase the distance and the opacity a little like that. And I'm just going to bring in social media handle. So just drag in Facebook. Position it here, and I want the color to be the same color we used for the phone. So I'm going to use my paint bucket and convert this to a raster layer, and I'll just fill it like that. Control T, reduce the size, position it somewhere here like this. For doing that, I'll even just go to the shapes layer. Now drag that for the website, position it here, reduce the size, and I'll change the color to the same bluish back color in the background like that. Control T, position it here. So I will now type in the name of the website, afecam.org. And I'll reposition it like this. Change the font to medium. Facebook. I'll just create a copy of this text, position it here. Now type in Academy Fellowship Cameroon like that. Select everything, reduce the space in between the text like that. Now bring in the YouTube logo icon, reposition it here, rasterize the layer, and fill it with the same color. Reduce the size, something like this. Position it here. Like that. Create a copy of this and I'll bring here and I'll type in afecam.tv like that. I think I'll reduce the size of this a little. And everything is now okay. What I'm going to do now is to color grade my design as usual. So just group everything, create a copy, convert to smart object, and I'll go to the camera raw filter where I'm going to color grade my design. So I want to reduce my highlights, increase my shadows, increase the whites, bring down the blacks, something like this. Add some textures and clarity, the hair slightly, add some sharpening, and I'll go back here and I'll warm up the design a little more like this. I'll just click on OK. I think I'm happy with this, and that's it for this tutorial. If you enjoyed this video, please do well to support me by liking and sharing this video. Subscribe to my channel if you are not yet a subscriber. See you in the next video.